Felicity, and welcome to Fun Friday. All right, as promised, I said I would show you how to put together the fabulous little new floral flower box from Lawn Fawn. And this is super fun, super cute, and let's get started. All right, all right, so we have this lovely little flower box. Look how sweet this is, all right, and so stinking easy to put together. And I just love it, all right. Now, this box will open up, all right, so it's closed right now, all right, so it will lay flat, closed, all right. It will pop up with the floral on there, and then you just kind of like open up the petals here, and the little box will open, all right. And it is quite a big box. You can fit quite a lot in there in terms of Hershey Kisses, jelly beans, little chocolates, candies. I think this would make a great little favor for a shower, a little Mother's Day gift. So many possibilities, a little thank you gift. So much that you can do with this lovely little box. And it's so easy to put. Now, the little tag on here is an addition. It's using some of the other Lawn Fawn products that are available, but the die will actually do everything you need to create this box. All right, so let's get started. This is what the die looks like. All right, you're going to have the base of it, all right, which is this one here. Then you're going to have your petal overlays with a little stitching design, which I love. And then these are the little stamens, all right? So not a complicated die by any means. And we're going to do two boxes today. I'm going to show you how to use it with pattern paper. I'm also going to do cardstock as well. All right, so let's get started. So I've already taken the liberty of die cutting the pieces so that I didn't need to do it on camera, but I will explain the pieces. Now I am using the brand new Blissful Blossoms petite paper pad from Lawn Fawn. So I've just have everything, like I said, pre-cut, all right? So in order to make this lovely little box, the base die here, you need to cut two of those out, all right? That's going to give you your six petals. That's going to give you that kind of hexagon shape. So you need to cut two of those ones, all right? Now, what is cool about this is that it cuts it and it will do all your score lines as well, all right? So it's going to be hard to see on the pattern paper here, but you can see the camera's picking it up. The score lines are all there, all right? So you need that. And then I cut out the petals. So the base I cut out of the kind of the darker blue pattern here. The petals, I took the dainty floral pattern, and the petals, there's three in one, so I had to cut that twice to give me the six petals. And then the stamen is this one here, and I just cut it out of the yellow, and you only need to cut that once. It will give you the six stamen for that, all right? Now, do you need to use the stamen? You do not. That's just an extra little bit for the inside of the flower, but you definitely don't need to use the stamen. I'm going to use it on both of mine, all right? So I've already taken the liberty, like I said, and I die cut everything. Okay, so I'm going to grab a bone folder, and I'm going to I have my double-sided tape here, and that's really all you need, maybe some liquid glue as well, all right? So the first thing we're going to do is oh, you need a pair of scissors. You do need a pair of scissors. All right, so first thing we're going to do is on this kind of like triangular tab, this larger triangular tab, just on one of these, you're going to cut that tab off, all right? So not the whole tab, but this little tab. You'll see that there's this little score line there. I'm going to fold that. And you're going to want to cut that little tab off. That is all. I don't have my glasses on, so we're going to make sure. Now, you can use a pair of scissors. If you want to use your paper trimmer, you could definitely do that as well. But I'm just going to cut that little tab. That is the only thing you need to trim off. Okay, so we've trimmed that off. Next, now we're going to fold. Now, there are there's horizontal folds, there's vertical folds, there's some diagonal folds, and then there's these little folds on the petals. Now, we're not going to worry about the folds on the petals. We're not going to worry about the diagonal folds on these quite yet. I'm going to start with this one here because this one here I had folded just to refresh my memory. This one here, I haven't done anything, all right? So this is the one that we did not cut the tab off. So one of these you're going to have that tab on, the other one we cut off. All right, so I'm going to do all the horizontal folds. So I'm going to fold them all away from me. And if you have a bone folder, you're going to want to use your bone folder just to crisp up those folds, all right? So just fold all of those little tabs away from you. So we're going to make them as mountain folds. We've got that first kind of row done. All right, now there is one this way, so I'm going to fold that one again. We're going to fold that one away using my bone folder. All right, so that's taking care of all the horizontal folds. Now we're going to do all the vertical folds. All right, so I'm going to flip this around, and again, we're going to do all mountain folds. All right, so there's one, there's two, and of course we have this one here and three. All right, so there is that. Now very carefully I'm going to do the diagonal folds. Now the diagonal folds are going to be little valley folds, and you got to be kind of careful. You just kind of want to push it on the fold. You don't need to really crease this fold. You just want to kind of push it. I'm not using my bone folder on it, and just very gently you want to do that. Okay, so there is that. We just have the two. All right, so that's what's left to do. Now the petals, we can just kind of bend. I'm not going to really crease them, but I'm just going to bend them towards me. All right, and just be careful. You want to just kind of do that little bend along that score line. We're not going to crease that, but it just gives just kind of telling the paper to fold that way. All right, so there's our first one. I'm going to lay that to the side. I'm going to do the second one. All right, so we're going to do all the horizontal folds first, and again, that is away from us. So little mountain folds on all the horizontal folds. Okay, done that. And now we're going to do the vertical folds. And again, they're going to be mountain folds. All right, so we have them. Now we're going to do the diagonal folds. And remember, they're little valleys. And I'm just going to kind of push that paper so that it kind of knows to bend that way. All right, so I have those. And then I'm just going to kind of bend the petals back just ever so slightly. All right, just along that fold. We got it. All right, so there's that. All right, now let's put these guys together now. We're going to build this into one piece. All right, so I'm going to have both these pieces facing up so that the petals are facing the same way. This side will have an extra tab on here. That tab you're going to put adhesive, and then you're going to line the second piece right over top of that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now I'm going to use my tape runner. Now I have extra strength or extra strength. Yeah, I guess extra strength adhesive on here. Double-sided tape would be your friend on this one. And when you go to line these up, you don't want to go past the score line. I should have my glasses on, but I do not. You know what? I'm going to show you a trick. I'm going to go this way. All right, so I have flipped this upside down. Just because I don't have my glasses on, I want to make sure I have this lined up. If you flip this piece that you have the adhesive and then fold that, this is where the adhesive is, then I'm going to take my second piece and now I can line it right to the edge. That might be just a little easier. Okay, so now we have connected that into one whole piece. Okay, now before I go any further, I think I'm going to put my little petals on now. All right, just to have that done. So the petals, I'm going to use liquid glue for this. All right, so these will fit nicely on these kind of little teardrop petals on our base piece. All right, so you're just going to fit them in. All right, so that they match perfectly. Now I like using liquid glue for this just in case you don't get that petal put on there perfectly. This way you have a little room or a little time to shimmy it over. Once we have these petals on, we're going to go ahead and put the stamen on. This box is just so stinking cute. And the last one. All right, so those are all our petals on there now. Okay, so there's that. All right, so then the stamen, I'm going to grab my tweezers for these ones, all right? So the stamen's here. All right, we're just going to put a couple of dots of glue on the back side here. And then you're just going to line these up to the point, all right? So I'm just going to bring this up closer to, so you're just going to put the base of that right to the point of the petal there. And that's going to be the stamen. All right, so you're going to do that for all 6 of them if you choose to do the stamen. Like I said, you don't need to have the stamen on these ones, but it does, you know, make the floral lovely. I just think these are just so cute, especially with Mother's Day around the corner. I think this would be a great little gift for showers, a thank you gift, bridal showers, baby showers. So much, just a cute little thing. Now on my original one, I did a little bit of inking at the base of the petals before I put them on, just to deepen up the centers of my florals. But again, you don't need to do that. It's just another way to accentuate the floral. All right, stamens are on. All right, let's put this one together now. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this so that the wrong side or the inside is facing up. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put adhesive on this little tab. All right, so that was the extra tab there. We're going to flip that down, and now we're going to put adhesive there. And then all you need to do now is you're going to just fold that over to connect it all. And now we've got, you can see that the box is starting to happen now. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to start. I should have put maybe adhesive on. I maybe should have put my adhesive on before I did that part, but that's okay. I'm going to use my liquid glue for this here. So I'm going to put liquid glue, and I'm going to use the piece that has the tab on it first, all right? So now you're just going to line up each of those pieces onto those tabs. When you use double-sided tape, it's going to go a little bit better, all right? So I'm going to do this side as well. My next one, I will make sure I have the adhesive on beforehand. So what I like about it is that you can stick your fingers in the box still so you can get that pressure on there. All right, now I'm going to put adhesive on the rest of the tabs and then this longer tab there. And this piece should just fold over now. And now I'm just going to just make sure that glue is sticking. The double-sided tape is a little bit easier. All right. All right, so there is our box. It's all ready to go. All right. Just going to wait for that glue to dry. Double-sided adhesive is going to be the much better option. All right, we're good to go now. Okay, now to put this together, this is the amazing part. So basically you're just going to kind of fold those petals just are going to follow those little diagonal kind of folds, and they're going to kind of interlock into one another. All right, so they're just going to do that, and then just keep on kind of pushing into the center, and presto, look at that. Our little box has been formed. How sweet is that? And I love the fact that, you know, when you press in, in the center and gives it a pressure, it pushes it all the way in and it just locks it all closed. How cute is that? All right, so this one here, I'm going to just show you again. Once the paper knows to fold, it just goes together so easy. All right, so you get them all together. All right, and then you just kind of push down in the center, and that's going to lock it. Mine keeps on popping up, but you're going to lock it. All right, there they are. All right, let's do one more. All right, and we're going to do this just out of plain cardstock now. All right, not pattern paper. So this one's going to be a little bit thicker. I used Spellbinders cardstock here. So this is 100 pound. All right, so you can see I've cut the two base pieces out of a lovely green, and then I've got the petals and I've got the stamen as well. Okay, so first things first is we're going to cut one of those little tabs off of that larger triangle. All right, so I'm going to just cut along the score line. That is the only piece that you need to trim off. All right, now we're going to score everything. So again, I'm going to start with my horizontal folds. And now because this is thicker cardstock, I really want to make sure I crisp up these lines. All right, so all right, so that's my vertical, and now I'm going to do, on my horizontal, now I'm going to do my vertical. The first one you always do is the awkward one, and then after you've done that, then they become really easy. All right, so let's do those diagonal folds. So I'm just going to kind of go along that fold and give it a little pressure just so the paper knows to fold that way. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take those little petals and push them or pull them towards me. All right, we're not going to crease them, just so that they know to bend that way. All right, so that piece is done. Now I'm going to do the second piece. I'm going to do this really, really quick. Horizontal, vertical, and then the diagonal. And then the petals. All right, so they're all ready to go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and glue my petals on. Now this one here, I did alternating pinks. All right, so I'm going to start with a dark pink and then alternate light pink, dark pink. So now we're going to have a two-tone floral. I'm going to move this petal down a little bit. Ooh, that one, the glue dried really quick on that one. I did not have it on all the way. I did not check my work. All right, much better. Okay, so I'm going to do dark pink, light pink. This is a dark pink. All right, so there's our first one. And then this will be the one that goes next. So we're going to make sure we do the light pink on this one. Dark pink is next. And then we'll put the stamens on as well. So depending on the paper that you use, will give you the kind of the sturdiness of the box. Lawn Fawn pattern paper is not, it's got a nice thickness to it, but it's not as thick as cardstock. So you'll find that when you make it out of cardstock, the box will be a little bit sturdier. All right, so let's put the stamens on really, really quick. Tweezers. Now this one I'm just going to bring up a little bit. I'm going to bring this inside the stitching, all right? So it doesn't have to go all the way to the corner. The first one I did all the way to the kind of corner or the point. This one I'm bringing up above the stitching, all right? Personal preference. Ooh, that one went a little crazy, that stamen. Okay, one more to go, and then we can adhere kind of our box together, and it will be done. Like I said, these go together really simple. As soon as you understand how it goes, really simple to make. All right, so there are our petals on. Now we're going to put adhesive here, and we're going to connect these two. All right, so I'm going to grab my adhesive runner here. And I'm going to flip this over, and then I'm going to have that panel with adhesive exposed, and I'm just going to line this up. Okay, so that we have lined up. Now I'm going to flip it to the back side. I'm going to put adhesive. No, I'm not. I'm going to put, before I do that, I am going to put adhesive here. Now, I would probably use double-sided tape to keep the backings on. But because I'm not using double-sided tape, I'm going to go with my tape runner, and we will get this. Okay. So this has got my double-sided tape. I'm going to flip this. Oops, I need to put more adhesive on there. Going to flip this over, and this is just going to fold right onto it. All right, now we can going to take the one with the tab, and now we can adhere this down. And when you have double-sided tape, it's so much easier than using glue like my first one. All right, and then this one is just going to fold down now. And our little box is constructed. All right, so I like to add a little bit of pressure at the bottom here just to make sure everything is stuck, and that went together much easier than using liquid glue. All right, so now we're going to do the petals. So again, you're going to start with one, and we're going to kind of just fold along those diagonals onto one another. Once you have them kind of overlapping, then you're just going to kind of put a little bit of pressure in the center. And then once they go into place, you can just push in the middle, and that is going to lock them all into place. And now we have this cute little box. Oh my gosh, super cute. All right, look how fun these are. All right. Oh, so much fun. And honestly, they do hold so much. And just to open them, you're just going to pull up on one of those petals, and they're going to kind of release and just be awesome. All right. So there is the Lawn Fawn little floral box. How cute are they? how spring are they? Like, honestly. Now, you could have some fun and decorate the outside on here. Use pattern paper, use cardstock, just, so you can do so much with these. And just a fun little box. Super fun. All right, so that is it for today's Fun Friday, featuring the Lawn Fawn little flower box. Also looking at the brand new petite paper pack Blissful Blossoms. How much fun are they? Oh my gosh, they're so cute. All right, everyone. So that's it for today for Fun Friday. Hope you enjoyed that. Take a look at them. They're just so, so sweet. All right, everyone. Have yourself a great weekend, and we will talk to you soon.